So, introductions. My name is Tiffany King. I am one of the directors of special education for the district. I specifically support middle, high school, adult transition program, and our extended school year programs. And we have Laura Mueller with us. Do you want to do a little introduction?
My name's Laura Mueller, and I'm a program specialist for Abraxas High School, our transition program for 18 to 22, and we have the continuation high school there. And then I also assist with workability and transition partnership program.
Perfect. Okay, so we can make this a little more personalized because I know we have Westview and Poway High represented, so we can talk a little bit about specific supports and services that are offered at both schools. And then also what is to come after high school, which is often a source of anxiety and fear for a lot of our families. So we love to do these presentations to ease all of that because there is lots of support for students after high school. So this you can definitely take home. We have more copies. We'll also post it on the special education portion of the district website if you ever have questions. So the first slide, well, the middle slide, talks about the differences between high school and college. And we also do this presentation with our partners from the San Diego Community College District, and specifically the disability support programs and services. And that is the department at the San Diego Community College District. It's called Different Things at Different Schools. So it's DSPS at San Diego Community College. If you go north to Palomar, it's called DRC, Disability Resource Center. It's called something different at every site. So that's the first thing we help our students identify is what do you want to do? And wherever you're going, let's help you identify where you can get the support that you're looking for. So the first thing they will do with the students is talk about the differences between high school and college. And this slide really details those differences, as well as a source called Catching the Wave, which is available on our website. It's a long document that the San Diego Community College has put together to prep students with IEPs for what to expect in college, in a vocational school, really any post-secondary setting that differs from high school, obviously. Catching the Wave.
That's why you said that. So yeah,
It's on our Poway Unified website under Special Education Parent Resources.
One of the main differences, and what I will say to students in IEP meetings, is up through K through 12 or even in the transition program, there's a group of adults standing around trying to help you, asking you what you want, asking you what you need, making sure that you get all your services. And the main thing that happens that's different once students are out of K through 12 transition program is it's suddenly on the family, on the student to seek out whatever assistance they might need. There are going to be staff available to help. There is going to be a disability center. There is regional center. There is Department of Rehab, but none of them are going to make sure you get what you need. It becomes on the student, on the family potentially, to make sure they're hooked up with those resources and accommodations.
Right. So in high school, we tend to recommend self-advocacy goals throughout high school, and this is one of the reasons why. So we want students to be able to identify their needs and access accommodations and services that help and support whatever those needs are. So you, if your child does not have a self-advocacy goal, it's something, and they're not typically one that self-advocates readily, it's definitely something that you can request to be put into your IEP for things like this. And by the time the student is 16, they will have a transition plan included in their IEP if they don't already. And that is one piece of the ITP is really getting to know what that disability is, the strengths that the student has, and any areas of opportunity, and self-advocacy is one of those. So we can definitely help build those skills. All right. Well,
I know.
really moving along here. Okay. So we're going to stick to the paper. So transitioning from high school to college, again, the key aspects is describing the need. Not every student needs to go into a lot of detail about their disability, but they should know what they need. And that might be access to an alternative way of presenting material. So if you have a lecturer in college or vocational school, you might need those notes printed out, or you might need it recorded so you can hear it back later. So knowing what your needs are based on your disability and being able to, again, advocate for those needs. One thing that we have in Poway Unified that can help with this, we have 2 programs. They're called Workability and Transition Partnership Program. And Workability is a grant that we participate in through the state, and it helps, we actually participate in middle and high school versions of Workability. Our students get those pre-vocational kind of soft skills, so interview skills, resume writing, going and just basically identifying what your passion is. Some of our students don't know what it is that they want to do after high school, so even helping identify what that passion might be. And it might change tomorrow, but looking at all the opportunities that are available to our students. So we have 4 vocational specialists in the district, as well as Laura and I are both on the grant. And we travel to the middle and high schools, and we have students that we help identify those areas of interest and help them through the process all the way to ultimately job placement. So we have all of our students at the Abraxas Transition Program all have jobs through Workability, and then we have students that are both diploma and non-diploma bound at all of our high schools participating in this program. And participating with some of our partners in the community and have paid jobs through the grant. Transition Partnership Program is very similar, and that is through Department of Rehabilitation, which is our state vocational rehabilitation program. Every state has this program, and very similar to Workability. There's 5 components that we have through our contract with Department of Rehabilitation. Same thing, self-advocacy, college readiness, career readiness, preparation, self-advocacy skills, and then it goes all the way to work readiness and work placement. So through both of those, 1 grant, 1 contract, we have the opportunity to offer our students from all the way to identifying a passion, all the way up to job placement and paid through both of those pieces. Did you have a question?
When you say you come into the schools, how does that work? Is that like a class that they're enrolled in? Or
Good
is
question. Yes, so we have it's a continuum of services. So there's the opportunity for our vocational specialists to meet one-on-one with students. Some of our vocational specialists push into learning strategies classes at each of the high schools. And some do small group instruction. It just really depends on the number of students at each school. We have the opportunity to push into learning strategies classes, and some students prefer that one-to-one. Which
is it one-to-one during the school day, or is it done after school?
Both. We have both. And some we are able to pull during learning strategies, or if it's like Wolverine time for 45 minutes, there's different times when we can do it so it doesn't affect core classes. Yes. Yeah, of course. Okay, so on page 3, we move on to, it really details the 5 components in our Transition Partnership Program contract and going into each of them. So that job exploration counseling, post-secondary counseling, work-based training, the self-advocacy, and then work-based learning experiences. So the last time you have to re-up your contract every 3 years with TPP. So we decided this last time that we renewed our contract that we were going to add that work placement onto it, which offers more opportunities for additional students to have paid work experiences. So it's really been a great addition to the program, and more of our students have been able to work because of it. Department of Rehabilitation, if your students, one common question we get is, what if we're not staying in California? What if we move? Or what if our child wants to go to a school that's not in California? What does that look like? So Department of Rehabilitation is California's vocational rehabilitation program. Every state has a vocational rehabilitation program. So we've helped students that, actually just last year we had a student here at Mount Carmel. He had an IEP and was going to Texas on a football scholarship. So we helped, one of our transition activities was to help him identify the vocational rehabilitation program in Texas, link him with the Disability Resource Center at the school, And he was able to transition over to that department of, it wasn't called Department of Rehabilitation, but that equivalent in Texas. And he's receiving supports and services there now. So every state has some kind of vocational rehabilitation program that can help support.
What kind of fields or work environments is this part of?
Any. So we have Department of Rehabilitation is available to any individual with a disability. So whether we had transition partnership program or not, many districts don't. The next step after graduation for all of our students is to apply for services through Department of Rehabilitation. You just have to have a documented disability and an idea of what you might want to do for a vocation.
It doesn't matter if they want to do electrician
Nope.
or marine biologist.
Correct. And Department of Rehabilitation will help you identify the pathway to become an electrician or a marine biologist or whatever it is you want. And they fund quite a bit of your education and the materials or equipment you need to pursue that. So we always share the example that maybe you want to be a professional photographer. Well, if you go to Miramar and take classes, you have to have the program at your home and on your computer. You have to be able to get to school. So Department of Rehabilitation will fund the programs, get you the device you need at home. They've funded bus passes, and now they actually fund Uber rides to get to and from school. So it's an amazing program that, especially in California, offers a great deal of resources for all of our students.
Just for quick clarification, usually they're gonna reimburse at the state college level, so for the first 2 years at the community college level, and then beyond that at the state college level, so they absolutely do assist financially and maybe completely if you are accessing a program within those. But if it's a vocational program that's not available at a community college, absolutely they pay for it, like after they help you figure out what it is you want to do. You do still have to complete the FAFSA as well, and if the FAFSA will cover part of it, then that would still be covered that way.
Is there a deadline for when you need to start services, like an age cut?
For Department of Rehabilitation, so we always recommend the sooner the better. It used to be they wouldn't take applications before 3 months prior to graduation. Now we have sophomores that apply through Voc Resource Services through Department of Rehab, and they just become clients as sophomores and then remain and then bridge into Department of Rehab Services
So
right
if our
after
student
school.
is a junior,
I would do
they
it,
could apply now.
absolutely, yes.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so my son is a graduating senior, and he does have an IEP. He wants to go to Grand Canyon University, so in Arizona.
Yes.
So I need to apply to the program in Arizona, and how do I figure out how to do that?
Yeah, great question. Personally, I would apply right now through our Department of Rehabilitation
Okay.
Services, so you have a case open.
Okay.
And then the individuals at our branch is in San Marcos, it's right off the 78. They'll call, do an intake meeting, bring you and your son up likely, and go through all of that. They do, of course, another acronym, IPE, Individual Plan for Employment. And on that, at Grand Canyon University is where he wants to go to pursue the vocation that he wants. They will link you to the Arizona Department of
So
Rehabilitation.
where do I go to apply here?
So there's a website on here,
Okay.
but you can Google Department of Rehabilitation California.
It'll pop up.
Yep, and you'll just click apply for services, put in all your information, and then they reach out to you and schedule an appointment.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and we'll give you our information too, so that if you go through that and you still have questions, please let us know, and we can, we have our contacts up there, we can definitely hook you up with. All right, let's see, so page 5, I am on the post-secondary, yep, keep going. There we go, okay. So we've talked a little bit about what DOR does, Department of Rehabilitation. So again, the ultimate goal is to get students to reach their vocational goal, whatever that is. Some students need to go through quite a bit of schooling to do that, which Laura mentioned. They reimburse up to the community college and then state college. amount, and then the rest is supplemented by FAFSA, federal funds, or even scholarships or the family. But it's a nice chunk that they cover. And these are the other pieces that Department of Rehabilitation will assist with. We have students that have their clothing purchased through Department of Rehab if they need to purchase a uniform. All of these other equipment like we talked about. Some of our students require interpreters. Perhaps they are deaf or hard of hearing, and they provide the interpreter services so the adults can then still access their vocational goal with that interpreter with them. So such a variety and great wealth of resources provided by Department of Rehabilitation. So these are the questions that they will ask you. Do you want to work? That's the first goal. And I laugh, but that is sometimes the first barrier. We don't know what we want to do all the time in high school, and that's okay. And that's why we have the ITP as part of students' plans as soon as they turn 16, so that we can explore all the different career opportunities based on their interests and strengths. And then do you have a documented disability? So when your child graduates, they will leave with a copy of their last psychoeducational report and IEP, and that is the documentation that Department of Rehabilitation will need for that documented disability. Some students who don't have IEPs also may have a documented disability through a 504 plan, or perhaps just a diagnosis in general, and they didn't necessarily require support through their K-12 career, but might during college, or whatever that vocational path is, and that's okay too.
Also,
Okay, so these are just all the eligibility pieces. If you're a student or you have an IEP already, you qualify for Department of Rehabilitation. So already on your way there. Okay, so we've covered that it's employment-based. This is our branch that represents our community, and it's the San Marcos branch. That is the phone number and website down there at the bottom. Again, all of this is in the presentation.
So if somebody starts this program with DOR and then decides after like a year of support that I'm done, I'm out, do they have to repay anything that was provided to them since they didn't finish
no,
the program?
not only do they not have to repay anything if they don't finish a program, they're still eligible to say, hey, that didn't work out, I didn't like that, I'm interested in this now. They'll start it all over. They'll sit down with them, help them figure out what program's now gonna meet the need for this new career that they have in mind, and they will start it over.
And they're basically a caseworker, like somebody that they
Correct.
become familiar with.
And again, as I said at the beginning, the difference is if the student stops reaching out, no one's gonna make you have a meeting, no one's gonna make you do anything. So it still does require that effort and self-advocacy, like we talked about at the beginning, to secure the support of Department of Rehab. And they are not gonna they will keep contacting you a few times, but then they're gonna send you a final letter like, you haven't responded, so let us know if you want something. But you're never out. You're never done. They will kind of remove their services after 6 months of successful employment
Sure.
at the end of a case. But even then, if at some point that fell through or they were struggling again, you would still be able to go back and receive services again.
Is there an age limit
Nope.
on when they can come back?
No, I think the last time at one of our last quarterly meetings, I think their current oldest client is 82. So
nope.
I know it really sounds too good to be true.
And they have that in every state.
They do, yes. Yes. All right. Laura's putting her email up there. It really is a great deal. And surprisingly, it's not, I mean, people definitely take advantage of it, but not as many as could. So we try to promote it as much as we can because we've seen it just work wonders for many of our students. So the more we can get to apply, the better. Okay, so the next section is on that disability support and program services. This is the specific to San Diego Miramar College, which is part of San Diego Community College District. So all of the colleges south of the 52. And then of course, many of our students in Poway also access Palomar, really depending on what area they want to focus on.
But this is representative of what would be at any college, any university, has to have a disability center that will assist students with disabilities to get the accommodations that they need.
Perfect. So this is the latest information from the San Diego Community College District. So they serve over 900 students with a variety of disabilities. So again, they follow the same guidelines that we do and have the 13 handicapping conditions. And then the steps to enroll. So typically, by the end of junior year, we have identified potentially community colleges, if that's the route that students want to go. Sometimes it's university, sometimes it's vocational school, sometimes it's everything in between. And so if community college is the route that we want to pursue, this is the process of how to apply. We also have field trips at some of our high schools to go see the community colleges. The placement exam is no longer part of the community college entrance piece, so we used to take groups up to do the placement exams for the English and math courses, but now we just take them up and do the field trips. So if that's something that your student is interested in and your site doesn't already have those field trips planned, please let us know. And then again, that IEP and the last psychoeducational report, it doesn't have to be a psychoed report from senior year. It can be the last one that was conducted at the last triennial review. And the community college or whatever university will want to see a copy of not only the psychoed report to document the disability, but also the IEP to outline the accommodations that the students needed when they were accessing school.
Which, speaking of IEPs, one of the things that becomes, it's so important anyway, but I have been in IEP meetings where someone will be like, well, does he really need that support anymore or that
Yes.
accommodation? And I'll be like, hold on.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is important, not just for now. This is going with the student to university or to community college, and this needs to be documented if it's something they need to be successful.
Yeah, really good point. Yeah.
So is the report from the licensed medical provider, is that through the school or is that? something
That's if you
separate?
don't have an IEP or
Oh.
504. Yeah. All right, so these are some of, I believe the next slide
Yeah, it's
outlines
gonna
all the
list them
accommodations.
specifically.
Once the student applies to the college, and then will also apply for services through the DSPS or DRC, whatever resource center that the students are accessing, they will meet with what's equivalent to their case manager right now. So this will be their case manager at the college level, and that will be the person they meet with every year. But like Laura mentioned, they're not going to be actively seeking you out as a student. It's up to you to go and access what you need. So if you do have, for example, a common accommodation in high school is to test an alternative location. Similar accommodation available in college. But right now, in high school, your case manager is likely facilitating all of that. Getting the test from the teacher, bringing it into that alternate location, and having it ready for the student when they come in to take the test. At the college level, it's different. So you have to take your accommodation note to the teacher, let them know you need it, and then they will make sure that whoever has the test, needs the test, has it, and then it's up to you to go access it. So again, that self-advocacy piece is huge to plan, so a lot of executive functioning skills needed here, to plan ahead, make sure you have what you need, organize it with your professor, get what you need, and then schedule a time to take it in the Disability Resource Center with the proctor. All right. Okay, and just like in high school, that assistive technology and any equipment needed for some of our low incidence disabilities like deaf, hard of hearing, or visually impaired, or orthopedic impairment, those are all available still. We talk about IDEA, which is the law associated with special education. It then moves over to the 504 and ADA law. So all of these accommodations related to disabilities are available through ADA and the 504 at the college level or post-secondary, not even specific to college. Okay? So right now we collaborate with the agencies that we talked about, Workability, Department of Rehabilitation. We will continue to do so as long as we can, which hopefully is forever. We've been doing it for over 35 years, I believe now, with Workability and Department of Rehabilitation. So we definitely can help assist with any of your students' post-secondary goals, getting them where they need to be, perhaps even identifying what it is that they want to do, and then also discuss eligibility for all of those programs as well. This is just a list of the associate degrees and certificates available. This is a big one. If for nothing else, becoming a client or member, for lack of a better word, with the Disability Support Program Services, Disability Resource Center, whatever it is called at the college where your student is headed, once you become part of that, you get priority registration, which if we remember how hard it was to register for classes at the college level, because that priority is given to the older students. And so once you are in with the disability resource centers and you have everything set up, you are automatically given priority registration for classes. So you get first pick, which is huge. It's a huge benefit. Okay, do you have any questions? And you might have some after you go home and think about it, so please reach out. Okay, you put it up here. L. Mueller, and then mine is T.I. King. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us. And we are super passionate about this, so we will definitely help you and your students get to where you want to be.
How long does it take to apply? Is it, so,
To Department of Rehab,
yeah,
it's just a short form,
oh, okay.
real short. I would say the majority of the time is going up and meeting with the person once you get it scheduled, and sitting down and getting that IPE completed and figuring out the steps needed to achieve whatever that ultimate goal is.
Yeah, and thank you for putting all the things you did in that, because I know I just finished an IEP meeting for my son where we were trying to put together the supports that he would need for college, and I'm going to now revise it because I saw some on there that would be so perfect that we didn't think of.
Definitely. All right.
Thank you for coming. I hope you found it helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that's different for me is I've also sat in your chair and I have several kids who have utilized, my own kids, who've utilized the Department of Rehabilitation. So I kind of have seen it in 3D as well as being into it for my passion employment as well. So when I look at it all, I'm seeing it like, yes. And it is hard if the individual themselves isn't necessarily motivated. It kind of falls on that.
Page 9, you had listed academic accommodations. Is this what you're saying is in the high school versus in the college setting?
Oh,
Or
no,
is
no,
it just
no.
this is
Yeah,
what
those
you
are all
expect?
available in college.
So this is what we should also be receiving in the high school level?
Well, no, it depends on what exactly each student needs.
These are just what's
But they
available.
should be
depending on
available
If needed.
to get written in if needed.
Yes, if needed.
If they're
I think
related to
something
the
must be missing.
student's goals, right.
Maybe,
So remember, accommodations at the high school level, K-12 and below, K-12, accommodations are directly related to the student's goals, which are directly related to their need and their disability. So, for example, we wouldn't give a calculator to a student that doesn't have a math goal. We wouldn't give a graphic organizer to a student that doesn't have a writing or organization goal. So we have to have the goals that then necessitate the accommodations.
And we're also careful not to pile on too much because we want to make sure that we're serving the student in the least restrictive way. So of course, I don't know your details, but sometimes something might not be in there because we want to promote the student's independence. So I don't know, because I'm not in your case. But thank you again. Yeah. And also with those things in college, I actually also teach at a university, and the students email me their 504 and let me know what they need. It's all on the student, so it's really very different.
with something like a self-advocacy goal, we've been trying to write one with the school for a while now, and we see it the way you described it. I think they see it differently. Do you have examples of
Absolutely.
a well-written self-advocacy goal that you could email you and
Sure.
get a copy of?
Absolutely. And if you want to give me your email, I can email you some and also connect with your case
Yeah,
manager.
that's definitely important.
Because we are
Yes.
struggling greatly with coming to agreement on what a self-advocacy goal is actually defined as.
Absolutely. And what grade is your child in?
It's a junior.
So there's definitely a
We're trying to
transition
prepare
plan.
them for college type
Yeah.
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they definitely are possible, because I know for my son's IEP, there are 2 self-advocacy ones. And we did go back and forth until we found the ones that really work, so,
Yeah.
so just keep at it.
For sure. And a lot of times it is just what we talked about. It's addressing a teacher and asking for what you need, attending Wolverine time, things like that that are available
Mhm.
to access the accommodations.
Yes.
And then keeping data on it, right, to be able to say whether it's been met or not. So,
Yes.
perfect.
I wholeheartedly agree.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
And let
Reach
us
out
know
if you have
think of
questions.
anything else.
Thank you.